What's going on, everybody? Wayne's Workshop here, and I'm going to show you how to control the electronics in your cosplay with the help of this little remote and the contents of this little box right here. So let's go. So, remote controlling the electronics in your cosplay. Here we got the remote, and there we got the box. And when we open the box, we are presented with this. These are generally used for things like a garage door. You press the button and it activates and rolls up the garage door, press it again and rolls down. But we're going to use it for our cosplays. And I'll show you how it works in this test example. All right, there we have it. We have the battery, and it goes to the positive and the negative of the wireless receiver. I have 3 LEDs here, which are connected to the other end of the receiver. However, there is a bridge here, one wire that bridges the power from the battery directly also to the LEDs, because this does not act as a gateway or a pass-through of current. It still needs a direct line to the current. This is just a blocker, and with the press of the button, we relieve the blocker. I'll show you. Beep, and it's on. And it's off again. That's all it is. Now, how do you wire all of this up? And I'll show you in a new example, and I'll build one from scratch. Just place this one, boop, place that one aside. And we'll grab our new one right here with the remote, and for the heck of it, I'll grab my smoke machine from a previous video. You can check that out right here if you haven't seen so already. It's basically how to make a mini smoke machine out of an air pump and a vape pen, as you can see here. So, as you can see, I'm still using this old ass button, so we're going to upgrade it to fancy remote control. So, if we flip this over, you can see on the side that it has 2 connectors. You see a plus and a minus, positive and a negative. Here's where your first line of battery power will go in, and I'll show you. So, this is my 12-volt battery pack. It consists of 8 AA batteries, pumping it up to 12 volts. And I prefer this nowadays instead of the 9-volt batteries because, well, even though 9-volt is pretty practical, it doesn't run for a long time. And for example, in the smoke machine, it kind of cut out quick. So I have upgraded it to a 12-volt battery pack that's still fine because these can still run on those. So I just showed you the positive and the negative connection, and I'm gonna attach these to that. So black is always the negative, and red is also the positive. And you can see this light is starting to activate. Now that I connected it, I'm not going to screw them in place yet because I still need to bridge power from the battery pack over to the smoke machine. So I won't screw these down yet, but you can see they're connecting and the button is powered on because of the indicator LED, and you can even hear that it's working because if you press the button, you can hear it click. Click. And another one, now it's off. Now we're grabbing the 2 main lines to the electronic device that you want to remote control. In this case, it's my smoke machine, but as you could see earlier, your LEDs work just as fine. I had a quick connector on there, but I'm just cutting that off so I can attach it. The negative wire, the black one, of the device that needs to be turned on can be inserted directly onto this black wire. You can just put it on in the same connector because you don't have to like attach it here because it's going to connect anyway, so we can use the screw port on the receiver just for the sake of ease. Now that that's connected, I can screw tightly the screw of the negative lead, the black one. So that's not going anywhere. Now to connect the other side, mainly the things that lead to the device that needs power. And I'll flip it over again, because there are more written down symbols on the other side. As you can see, we have NC, we have COM, and we have NO. And the ones that we'll be using today are the COM and the NO. So which one goes where, you might wonder. I told you we need to bridge the power from the battery pack also to the smoke machine. And we do that by grabbing a single red wire, the single one, and we plug one end into the line where the positive lead goes in, and we plug the other end into the COM, and just screw it on tightly because we don't need to work on this side anymore now. And the other side goes in the middle, the COM one. And there we go. So this is our bridge of power. And now we take the lead, the positive lead that goes to the smoke machine and the air pump, or LEDs, or whatever you want to control. There we go. Now it's all hooked up. However, I still have my old button here. This is now redundant because if I would turn it on right now, nothing would happen because I still have to press the button. So I'll just cut this button off and I'll connect it, removing the button and making the bridge together. I know this looks like a total mess, but I'll provide you with a drawing of an easy schematic you can follow, but bear with me on this one. So, to provide you with a quick overview, we have our battery pack with our positive and negative leads. The positive lead, the red one, goes into the plus of the receiver. The black one, the negative one, goes into the minus symbol of the receiver. Right? Then we have our single positive lead that goes into the plus sign of this side, going all the way over to the middle connector here, designated with COM, as our bridge to supply power from the power bank eventually to the air pump and the vape pen. And then we have our other positive lead connected to the NO channel, leading a wire all the way actually supplying the power to the air pump and the vape pen. And then a black lead, the negative, from these two devices all the way back into the power supply, thus closing the circuit. And when I press the button, we have smoke. I hope that was clear, but there is also another way you could power this using two battery packs. And that way you can spread the load on the device that needs power and the receiver that also needs power. And I cleaned up the smoke machine setup for you a bit, so let's take a look. So, right now, we have the 9-volt battery pack that is connected to the plus and the minus and is just powering the wireless receiver. It is not bridged to the other side. This one, the 12-volt battery pack, is now with the positive lead connected to the middle one, the COM. And then, just like before, on the NC, there is the positive lead wiring up to the air pump and the vape pen. And then again, the negative ones, not all the way back to the original one, but back to the 12-volt power bank. So now, in a wrap-up, this is a closed system, and these two are a closed system. And the only thing connecting the two is this remote, triggering the port between COM and NC, closing the circle, and getting smoke. Press it again, boom. No more smoke. Well, there's still plenty of smoke in the room, but you get what I mean. This way, you spread the current load on the device. For the earlier setup I showed you with the couple of LEDs, it is fine. The 9-volt battery can easily run the few LEDs and the wireless receiver, but on something as heavy as an air pump and a vape pen, yeah, this setup would be smarter because you just spread the load and you can, you know, do your con and slap up this thing whenever you want it and not worry about the battery being depleted. But now comes the real question, what is the range on one of these things? Because I've been using it fairly up close, so there's no problem for the receiver to actually get the signal from my remote. But what if you are carrying this big armor and you have like smoke machine or LEDs in your head, and you only have the button at your foot, or a friend even, your handler remote controls your electronics? What is the range? I will show you from across the hallway. All right, I'm in the living room right now. Here is the wireless receiver on the 9-volt. I pulled the antenna a bit up. It's just a spring, so you can just pull it up, wire to the LEDs, and got the remote right here. Boom, it works. Excuse the birds, they're kind of a bit annoying. Hello. So, back to it. We got it. Boom, on and off, or using the same button, on and off. Walking all the way back and further back through the hallway. Let's see. Boom, still on, still off. It's pretty good range. Let's see how it functions with the walls. This is the shop. LEDs are off. Boom. Pointing it like at the window, and it still responds. All right, it's off. Let's move into the shop. I'll aim it at the printer. All right, let's move back. And it's on again. So the range on these things are pretty good. They use a sort of radio wave telecommunications instead of infrared, so stay away from the infrared ones because those suck. As you just saw, the range on these things is pretty damn awesome. You could be meters away and it still works. It uses telecommunication radio waves for it, so it goes pretty far. You can use this in LEDs. You can use this, like you just saw, on a smoke machine and air pump combination. You could link this to power up an Arduino at a certain time if need be. Another example is, let's say you have a cosplay act and you have a stage prop and you have lights inside, or even a smoke machine, but you don't want to set it off right away. You could actually build this remote. You could crack it open and take out the internals and build it into your prop, in your weapon prop or whatever, in your suit, and remote control the electronics in your stage prop. So the possibilities are really endless, and you can go nuts with your imagination on this one. And of course, I'll provide links in the description to these box sets. They are, like I said, these are about $5 a piece. If you want a multi-control box, they're a little bit pricier, but not that much. I'll drop some schematics on the single and the dual power supply setup. So the single one is fine for your basic LEDs. The dual power setup is for the more heavier types, like you just saw, my smoke machine and the air pump. If you do a heavy current on a single battery, it might shut off before you want it, or the battery will drain really quick, and halfway in the con it won't work anymore, so that's kind of a disappointment. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell button if you want to get notified on new videos and you want to learn some more stuff like this. And I hope you can impress everybody with your powers of remote controlling electronics. And I'll see you in the next video. Testing, testing. Testing. What's going on, everybody? Wow, can you shoot me into the show? Are generally used